So, hello everyone. My name is Saadia. I am the buyer manager at Connections Luxury, and I would like to welcome you to the ConnecTALKS, Health is Wealth. To all our Connections Luxury members and to all our warm welcome to you too. As you know, Connections Luxury is the international private community for trusted decision makers in high-end travel. Everything we do is specifically designed in the Connections way of doing business. It's a pioneering networking concept, combining one-to-one meetings and memorable experiences to forge long-lasting business relationships. So in the spirit of our ethos, I encourage you all to get involved and have your cameras on, ready to discover the person behind the profession. Before I introduce today's guest, I wanted to mention that today I'm joined by my colleagues, David Benitez, Head of Events Development, and Hannah Whitney from Operations. They'll be sharing information, spotlighting our session, and they'll be interacting with you in the chat. Also, a shout out to any of the Connections team who are joining us today. I'm sure many of you have used Zoom before. If not, please can I ask you all to place yourselves on mute. This session will last up to 1 hour and 15 minutes, and it is being recorded. So if you do have colleagues or friends who might find this particular ConnecTALKS useful, we will be distributing it in the coming days. And if during the talk you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to pop them in the chat box. So let's begin. As the travel industry looks to re-emerge after the past 18 months, the focus is beginning to shift on how to diversify the offering to clients. Medical tourism has steadily been gaining prominence, and with the increased concern for health and well-being amongst luxury travellers, this is sure to continue. Individuals are looking for better healthcare, state-of-the-art treatments, and perhaps most importantly, shorter wait times. Medical tourism is also a profitable product from which currently only a select few agents are benefiting from. On average, a medical tourist will spend around 20 to 30,000 euros on a trip. And so we wanted to use this ConnecTALKS workshop to discuss how we, as leaders in the luxury travel space, make the most out of the opportunities available. So it's with great pleasure I welcome Mert Akkok, Managing Director of B2B Encounters, to this ConnecTALKS. Mert is a renowned thought leader in the medical tourism sector. He's specialised in marketing medical services globally. And together we'll discuss the lucrative opportunities available to you all. So thank you very much to Mert for joining us today to help us explore what is available to us within medical tourism. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Mert.
Thank you, dear Hannah. Thank you for the warm welcome and nice introduction. Dear fellow colleagues, dear tourism professionals, me too, I'm a tourism professional, whereas I specialize on medical tourism. I would like to start with a simple presentation today to give you a brief idea about medical tourism and my network of medical tourism facilitators and providers. Dear Hannah, can we start with the presentation, please? So, my company is called B2B Medical Encounters. It is a network of medical tourism professionals from many different countries, from Russia to Saudi Arabia, from Morocco to Sweden, from United Kingdom to United Arab Emirates. So we have in our network colleagues from the medical tourism industry, either clinic managers, marketing or managers of some international hospitals or healthcare facilities, or we also have some medical tourism agents, medical tourism facilitators, whose job is to refer patients to international clinics. Let me start giving some information about what we do. It's pretty much like what Connections does. Okay, this photo is from one of our gatherings in 2019 in Barcelona. This was just before the pandemic. This is a meeting of our network, a gathering of our network in Barcelona. We hold it annually. I am the guy in the middle speaking to the members of the network. We come together and we discuss how to improve our business together. Next slide, please. So we also organize regularly on annual basis networking events, matchmaking events. I mean, we divide the members into two categories, members of our network. One category, we call it the providers, and the other category is the facilitators. So we match them and we hold B2B networking events, just like what Connections is doing. Here's another slide. We also do organize training sessions, educative sessions, learning sessions on certain subspecialties of medical tourism. These photos are taken from them. Next, please. So we also cooperate with big international events like Fitur. Fitur is one of the most prestigious tourism events in the world. I'm sure you have an idea about it. It's held by the Ministry of Tourism of Spain every year in Madrid. They just, I think, have postponed it last year because of the pandemic crisis. But inside Fitur, we developed a special sector called Fitur Salud, focusing on medical tourism, which is a new and promising product of the tourism industry. So we also hold conferences and small conventions as satellite events within bigger events. Next, please. Okay, this photo was taken in Morocco, which was another gathering of our African network members, where we also held a gathering and some networking event sessions. Next, please. This photo is from a FAM trip, a familiarization trip to a children's hospital in Spain. We visited a children's hospital with facilitators from the Middle East and from Eastern Europe, who are now currently sending some patients to this clinic, to this children's hospital in Spain. So this is another thing what we do. Next slide, please. So after giving some information about what my network does, what my company, what my organization does, let me tell you very briefly about medical tourism. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it because it's very popular. It has become more and more popular over the last few years. It's a new product line. It's a new service line in the tourism industry. It's pretty much like tourism, but in some respects, it differs a lot from the conventional tourism because it's about healthcare. And the main difference is the motivation, the emotions of the consumer. In tourism, you guys are all members of a luxury tourism network. You deal with clients and you call them guests because they are focused on leisure and holidays and they are happy people. Whereas in medical tourism, usually the consumers are under stress and we call them patients. We don't call them guests. So the decision-making process is driven by different emotions in medical tourism. But besides this fact, except for this fact, the main trend and the main concept is the same. Like travel agents and tour operators sending clients, guests to hotels and holiday resorts, medical tourism agents and medical tourism facilitators, they send patients to international hospitals or clinics in different countries from their original countries. So this is called medical tourism. We can divide it into many subcategories. Mainly, I divide it into two categories: life-threatening treatments, we call them complex treatments, like oncology, cardiology, or some surgeries, certain surgeries. These are complex treatments. And then we can also name another category for non-complex treatments. These are mostly aesthetic surgery, dental treatments, or hair transplantation, or well-being, which might be interesting particularly for this group of audience. Well-being and wellness facilities that are more similar to leisure activities. The patient is more relaxed when making the decision. So let's talk about the general trends in terms of the traffic of patients, of the consumers of medical tourism. Next slide, please, dear. Hannah, can I have the next slide? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the main traffic routes. So medical tourism has always existed, but as a professionally defined industry, we have medical tourism for 1.5 decades approximately. Before that, medical tourism existed, but not professionally defined or described. So it all started with Russian-speaking patients traveling from Russian-speaking countries abroad. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia and the CIS countries, Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States. So Russian-speaking countries mainly, these are ex-Soviet countries, the patients from these countries have had the tendency to travel abroad for medical care, for all types of medical care. The main reason was the economical collapse after the Soviet Union. It ended up with immigration of physicians. A big number of medical doctors immigrated from Russia outside, abroad, particularly to Germany, to USA, and to Israel. And also the medical technology was not very updated for some time in Russian-speaking countries. So healthcare consumers from these countries, they did not trust 100%. They were not confident with their own healthcare system for a short period of time. Not today, it has changed today. But for let's say a decade, they were not confident at home. So when they had serious health complications, they wanted to travel abroad to get healthcare, and particularly in Germany and in Israel, for many reasons, for multiple reasons. This can be the topic of a different presentation. So a big number of patients, a big revenue was generated by this industry. This is how medical tourism has attracted the attention of governments of different countries, because the revenue generated by Russian patients or Russian-speaking patients traveling to these two particular destinations was so big. Some governments in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, they have realized the amount of business here, and they focused on medical tourism, and they started encouraging their own private sector to attract Russian-speaking patients to different countries. So Russia has been the driver of medical tourism as a professional business in early 90s, and then until the 2005, 2006, from 1995 to 2005, Russia and Russian-speaking countries have been the core of medical tourism markets. There is still some traffic from Russia to these destinations, but not as much as before. Russians also tend to travel now to countries like South Korea and to Turkey for multiple reasons. Next slide, please. Another big traffic in medical tourism is from USA outbound. In USA, health insurance system is a bit complicated. So there are a lot of uninsured people. They don't have any private insurance, neither governmental insurance. So when they have to pay out of the pocket, they cannot usually afford some treatments at home. Also, for other treatments like aesthetic surgeries, dental treatments, even if they are insured, no insurance covers these expenses. They're always out of the pocket everywhere in the world. So Americans, they tend to travel to Central America, to Mexico, to Colombia, to some other countries in Central America for out of the pocket paid procedures or medical procedures. Next slide, please. Okay, there is another big traffic from Western Europe to Eastern Europe and Turkey. Western Europe, the medical system, public healthcare system is very well developed. So patients in these countries, they trust their healthcare system. They don't travel out if they need big and complicated treatments. Like if a German or a French or a Spanish or a Swedish patient needs to have cancer treatments or cardiological treatments, they stay at home and get free of charge healthcare from their government hospitals, from their public hospitals. But when it comes to aesthetic surgeries, dental treatments, ophthalmological, I mean, eye laser surgeries, cataract surgeries, such things, they have to pay themselves. So this drives them to travel abroad to Eastern Europe, to countries like Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic, Croatia nowadays, and to Turkey, where they get good quality healthcare for much more reasonable prices, more economical prices than their home countries. Next slide, please. Another very big traffic is from the Middle East outbound. In Middle East, most governments of most countries, they have a special department focused on sending their citizens abroad for healthcare. Like in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in Bahrain, in Kuwait, there are offices of the government which they are called overseas treatment departments or something similar. They send public patients to hospitals in Germany, Switzerland, United Kingdom, and USA. They make special agreements with private hospitals in these countries, and they send their patients and the government pays. Also some self-paying patients, they travel. They trust Western healthcare system more than the healthcare system at home and in their vicinity. So there is a big traffic from the Middle East in this respect. Okay, let's go to the next slide and let me summarize a little bit. So medical tourism, as I said before, we can divide it into two main categories: complex treatments, patients who travel for dangerous operations, risky operations. These are usually paid by governments and referred by governments of countries. And the second category is non-complex treatments like aesthetic surgery, well-being, which is very interesting for this audience, wellness, or sometimes they even go for mental care, mental health care treatments abroad. Such things are usually decided and purchased by the patient himself or herself. So the buyer and the decision maker is the same person. So facilitators can work more easily with this type of medical tourism consumers. Whereas there are methods for us to work with governments, for public authorities, this is the first category of medical tourism, where the consumer is someone else, but the buyer, the decision maker is someone else, the government, or sometimes big insurance companies are the buyer in this case. So I think I have given a general idea about how medical tourism runs. I would like to stop here and ask David to take over and add some comments on top of mine, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Benitez. Pleasure to meet you all. I know some of you as well. So as you know, in the Connections way, we always interact. And actually, we're going to do it in a very different way. As first, Mert has given us some information about medical tourism in general. So what we're going to do with the participants now, we're going to give you a breakout room to join. Okay, we're going to be distributing the breakout room now. And what we want you to do in the breakout room is to generate some questions for Mert. Okay, so you have 10 minutes. Okay, we're in the next minute or so, we're going to be giving you a breakout room to join. You're going to be either joining the Russia room, the Middle East room, the America room, or the Asia room. Okay, so you'll see it in your screen and you'll be assigned to one of them. During those 10 minutes that you're going to be in the breakout rooms, you're going to introduce each other if you don't know each other. This is what it's all about, and networking is all about. And then afterwards, just talk amongst yourselves and try to generate 2 questions that you have for Mert based on his presentation, or just questions you may have about medical tourism. We have heard a lot about medical tourism, and we just go ahead and feel free to ask the questions that you may have in your heart, and do it as a group. Agree in 2 questions, and then afterwards we will come back to the main room. Now, also you have to choose one scribe to write down the questions, because when we come back to the main room, that scribe will need to write down the questions in the chat. Okay, so make sure that you choose one scribe, and that person will have to come back and also will write the questions in the chat. And make sure that the person that you choose feels free to also share when we come back to the main room. Okay, so obviously we give the ability to share if you want or not. Okay, so I'm doing the rooms now. There's the America room, and we have the Asia room, and we're opening the rooms right now. Okay, so hopefully you're all okay. Let me just move. Okay, excellent. So see you soon. Hello, everyone. We're coming back.
Hello.
Hey, Anthony.
Hi, David.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the dark side. Okay, good. So everyone's back. So what I want you to do now, as you'll probably hear some music, is the scribes, if you could go to the chat, just like the Russia group has done, just please write the questions in the chat and put what group are you from? Are you Middle East? Are you America? Are you Europe? If you could write Europe and the questions. So you have 1 minute to do that now.
Okay, the questions from the Russian group. My favorite destination.
Yes, let's give them 1 minute. We have already Europe is there, Russian is there. And we're waiting also for America. Europe, Russia, and Middle East, we don't have a group of Middle East.
Okay. America has some UK input.
Okay.
They are cousins anyway.
Excellent. So Anthony has some UK input from the American team, so that's good. Okay, great. So let us start. While Anthony's writing, we're going to start actually with Russia, your favorite destination, Mert. So
Yes.
we have some questions from Russia. We have Laura Schmidt here with us.
Hello, Laura. Привет.
Yeah. Laura, the famous quote, there you are. Yeah. So we have a question here, Mert, for you. It says, is Russia a popular market for non-life-threatening treatments like cosmetic surgery? If so, where do Russians usually travel nowadays to do a procedure like that?
Okay. In general, Russia is not known to be a market of medical tourism for non-complex treatments, but Russia is so big. I mean, geographically and the population is so big. So there are all types of patients coming from Russia. I mean, it wouldn't be correct if I tell that Russians usually don't travel out for non-complex treatments. No, there are some, but the main business from Russia is for complex treatments. Russians still extensively travel abroad for cancer treatments, for major checkups, urological checkups, cardiological checkups, and these checkups usually end up with a diagnosis of a disease. And when it is diagnosed abroad, they get the treatment abroad. So for most of the professional clinics who are trying to attract Russian-speaking patients, they offer life-threatening treatments. Russia is the main market for them. But I know some Russians, they come to Antalya in Turkey for holidays, and while they are in holidays, they get some basic dermatological, like skincare treatments, or some weight loss support, some well-being support. These are non-complex treatments, but numbers are very few. This is not the main product to sell in Russia, but here is an opportunity. We can do this. We can look into this.
Thank you. Good question. Let's see if there's any other questions from Russia. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Yeah, we have more questions, David.
Okay.
We'd like to know if what kind of treatments people come to the UK for, if any. Do people come to the UK for any treatments?
Of course, especially Middle Easterns, not Russians. There is not a big traffic from Russia to the UK because the government of Russia does not have an agreement with the government of UK or private hospitals in UK, whereas the Arabs, they do. The governments of the Arabic countries, they have a special agreement with the UK government for training their doctors. They send their young physicians to UK for training, and then they come back homeland to treat patients at home. And also this agreement between governments also includes some surgeries, complex surgeries that require doctor expertise. They are performed in the UK. So the government of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, they send their patients, the government sends their patients to the UK. This is the main trend.
Great. Perfect.
Very interesting. Thank you. And we have one last question from our group, David.
Okay, go ahead.
And we'd like to know if there's any country known for offering long COVID treatments.
Any country for?
If there, long COVID is an issue at the moment. Some people are suffering, or many people are suffering of long COVID. Are there any countries that are known for offering treatment for this at the moment?
No, because it is not a very specialized treatment. It is just injections. Any country, I'm sorry for my language, any stupid hospital can offer this treatment if they have the medication. So there are no certain surgeries yet for the time being. There are no certain special treatments that can be offered by some countries. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cuba does this. They did something similar with cancer. If Cuba or if China tells the world that they have a special treatment available only in their country and then patients have to pay, I'm sure many people would pay and travel. But this is not the case for the time being.
Thank you very much, Mert.
Perfect.
That's all from Russia.
Thank you, Russia. Thank you, Laura. Now let's go to, what do you say, Europe or America with some UK points? Which one you want, Mert?
America.
America with UK. Let's start. So we're gonna find Anthony.
Yes, hi there. Yeah, so the first question we had is, we're all used to dealing with what we would call customers or clients. How would you suggest that we start marketing to patients? Where are we going to find people who want to take this sort of treatment, and how do we market to them?
Okay, so it's easier than you think, but it's usually much different than you think.
Yeah.
We as travel professionals, we already have a network. You just need to announce to your people that you also offer treatment services. But please do not make the following mistake. This question was asked to me in the Europe room. I was in the Europe room.
All right, okay.
So it will be a repeat for them. So medical tourism is very similar to conventional tourism in some respect, but it is much different in another respect. It's like you sending clients to a hotel, you send clients to a clinic and get the commission. This is the basic, the simplified description of medical tourism. So if you can just simply announce to your network of clients, if you have a mailing group, if you have a social media communication channel, just let them know that you are also offering some well-being services, some medical services in a certain destination, and they would come to you. But when marketing major services, major medical services like cancer treatments or life-threatening things, do not use the same communication tone as you use in marketing holidays, because I don't think this will be the case for USA. But a patient who has a disabled child, let's say a family who has a disabled child looking for a solution abroad, is under big stress. You cannot market to them like you are marketing to a holiday maker. Don't put smileys, don't use the happy language. You should use more scientific, more medically scientific language when you are addressing to them. You should have maybe doctors, like these webinars. You can organize webinars with some certain doctors, delivering information about his specialty. So this is what a family needs to know when making a decision. But if you are marketing hair transplantation, dental treatments, skin treatments, cosmetic surgery, then you can use the happy language and tell them, why not have hair transplantation together with your holidays next year? This is sellable in the same tone of communication. Digital media is a very popular channel. Use digital media. Patients, I think not only for medical tourism, this is for everything now. They tend to buy from Facebook, Instagram, but sorry, I'm keeping this answer a bit long. The trick in medical tourism, I don't know if it is the same in luxury tourism, is not the marketing, it's the sales. To generate leads is the easy part. Just by spending some money online, you can get a lot of leads, asking you questions about which clinic to go, which country to go, where they can have an obesity surgery, stomach reduction, where they can have a wellness treatment. You get hundreds of questions easily and cheap. We lose them in the process of sales, conversion. We lose them in the process of converting them into hot leads and then to clients. This needs a special training. If you want to employ someone in your team, please communicate with us. David, Hannah, Saadia, we are planning something, further trainings on medical tourism. The Connections is going to hold educative sessions. So we should guide and teach your staff about how they can sell, how they can convert leads to medical tourists. This is tricky. This is difficult.
Okay. The second question was really about liability. So we can recommend a hotel, but if a client says to us, I need to have some dental work done, and we recommend such and such a practice, say in Budapest, which makes a complete mess up, are we going to be held liable for that? Should we have any sort of expertise? Where do we go to get that sort of expertise?
Are you from the USA or from UK?
From the UK, but we'll probably follow the US example in professional.
Okay. In USA, liability is a big problem. They can hold you liable for anything. Yeah. You know, the law system in USA, so it's very complicated. But in general, this is how we structure this business. When you decide to become a medical tourism agent, to add medical services to your product line, on the disclaimers of your emails, on your website, and under each communication, written communication with your patient, you should include the following note that you are only recommending or suggesting these medical services, but these are not, I mean, the patient himself, herself is the decision maker. You are just, they shouldn't keep you, hold you liable. So also when they purchase, when they decide to go through you, there must be a simple agreement between you and the patient, the client, which should acknowledge that they know they have made the decision. You have just offered them alternatives. You are not liable for the outcomes. But of course, this is just the legal part. But the ethical part, you should always know the big medical facilities you cooperate with. It needs time. You may need to travel and go see the hospital, meet some of the doctors, ask them to give you regular training, and there are certification programs. One is an American certification called JCI, Joint Commission International. This is a very, let's say, respected, very esteemed accreditation. They control, they check some hospitals, and if they approve, if they acknowledge a hospital, that hospital is usually trustable, reliable, because they check all the medical quality, the personal, the staff, I mean, from hygiene to administrative processes. So if it is accredited by JCI, you can feel more confident. And you can also add this to the contract you make with the patients. Yeah. There's also a German version of the same accreditation thing. It's called THEMOS, THEMOS. That's the German version. That's also a reputable accreditation system. You can choose those clinics with this licenses.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony, for asking. And also now we have a couple of questions from Danielle Lewis, the European group. We're going to choose one of the questions because of time. So we have Danielle on screen. So choose one of the three questions, Danielle. You have future of medical tourism after COVID, is there certification, to be a medical tourism travel agency? Or how is everything coordinated between countries and governments and hospitals? Choose one, Danielle.
All right, well, we had Mert in our room, and so he just answered the certification for medical tourism agency. But I'd like to know
what is it? What is it? What is the certification? Tell us.
He just said about the JCI.
JCI.
Yes. I'm already looking that up. But the future of medical tourism after COVID, what are we going through? What do we need to go through for this?
Okay, perfect. The tendency now, it's a boom. I was in Valencia, Spain, just 10 days ago. We organized a big event with 120 people from different countries. All the medical tourism agents in our network, it was a physical event, not online. They are over busy with so much demand. So during the pandemic, people have been staying at home, and I don't know, maybe they have decided to change their lives. Thousands of people from everywhere, from Europe particularly, they want to get aesthetic surgery, they want to have be slimmer, they want to be healthier. There's so much demand, and the demand is more online. So I recommend you to have online marketing channels and well up and running websites. So the patients tend to buy through websites or portals. This is the general tendency, but the demand is growing. So there are more and more people who want to travel abroad for healthcare. So the future of healthcare today already shows that in the following 5 years, it's going to be a more profitable business, maybe more than luxury tourism. I don't know. And it's usually very expensive. As Saadia has stated, an average medical tourist spends approximately 20 to 30,000 euros per trip. And usually they keep coming. Let's say someone has a stomach reduction, an obesity, weight loss surgery. After 1 year, the same person wants to have her breasts up and lifted, and then they get the skin tightened, and then wants to have some additional something. They keep coming. So they are repeating customers, spending more and more money every year, and expensive procedures they buy. There are no certifications for being a medical tourism agent. You can just name yourself a medical tourism agent. An organization in USA, they say they accredit, they give a license for agents, but it's not very popular and it's not necessary. Nobody is asking for it. So you can name yourself a medical tourism agent. For the time being, there is none. But why don't we do it, David? Can be a good idea.
That could be a good idea, Mert. And some ideas will come out of this as well. We will be obviously recording this, and obviously we'll be sharing some good content that has come out of this discussion, because we believe that knowledge is in the crowd. Mert has a lot of knowledge, but all in our individual businesses, there's a lot of knowledge, and it's great to share. Thank you, Danielle, for sharing with us as well. So now, what we're going to do now, thank you, Danielle. So what we're going to do now is going to go to the second breakout room. This time around, Mert is going to ask you guys some questions. We're going to be in the same groups in Europe, in Russia, etc. And we're gonna answer the following questions. Saadia is going to put the questions on the chat, which is have you been observing some medical tourism activity in your area, inbound or outbound? So just have a discussion about that. If yes, what kind of medical procedures are offered or demanded in your area? Who comes for that? Who goes for what? Do you see medical tourism as an opportunity for yourself to grow your current business? So you're going to have another 10 minutes to discuss about that in your group, same groups, and we're going to put you in the breakout rooms. Hannah is going to put you in the breakout rooms now. And Mert, if you could jump to the other room this time around, that'll be great as well. So stay tuned, Mert, and we'll put you in a room so you could discuss. So please join your groups, and we'll see you soon. So this time around, I'm going to ask actually Danielle to start. Oh no, sorry, Laura. Laura, you're first. Give us your points. Yeah, please, Russia.
All right then. So the Russia group got to conclusions from a global perspective, and what we can observe from our perspective is that there is an increase in popularity in wellness, and dental care is also important, as people will have missed appointments during COVID. And Americans are going to Mola City in Mexico, and it's because it's cheaper there than having treatments in the US. Also, we see an increase in respiratory treatments influence as a choice of destination. And Switzerland is still a very strong destination for anti-aging.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, you guys did answer your questions. Excellent. Well, let's move on. We have that in the chat as well. So let's move on now to Danielle directly and let us know your answers.
Yes, Maria is very experienced in medical tourism. Her company works with that extensively. And so she, of course, has the experience the rest of us doesn't. And so, but she's now seeing that her Spanish residents are now going to Turkey because it's cheaper, of course, for a lot of medical tourism. Avi and myself, we're just trying to dip our toes into this to see where we go from here. And Peter asked about liability insurance, if Maria has seen an increase in the premiums for liability. So that's basically it. We just kind of talked around the issue, and Maria was just helping us to understand a little bit more about it.
Okay, great, Maria. So you have some experience in medical tourism, and it's good to have her join your group as well. Thank you, Danielle. Now, Anthony, over to you.
Well, perhaps unusually, America and Russia seem to be running along the same lines at the moment, because we also feel that wellness is going to be perhaps the most likely area of expansion. I think we all feel a bit nervous about entering into more serious types of medical tourism, perhaps because the emotions are different. When you're dealing with a holiday, the client is happy and excited. When you're dealing with a patient, they're nervous and stressed. So do we really want to take that on? The dental treatment is certainly something that I have experienced, but actually from the other perspective, I've been asked by a Hungarian dentist to promote their practice in the UK from a copywriting perspective rather than a travel one. So that's of interest to me. So yeah, that's sort of how we're looking at things at this side of the pond.
Okay, good. And thank you guys for doing this work and sharing as well. And we're gonna go to the last question that says, do you see medical tourism as an opportunity for yourself as a travel tour operating or travel agent company? Do you see that as yourself to grow your current business? So that's a question that you have guys been answering. As a matter of fact, Saadia is going to put some questions on the screen now on the chat. If that is yes, if you see that as an opportunity, this is questions that we're going to launch to you, and we'll probably send it to you if you're interested to do it at your home. And you will have Mert available to answer those questions in a more one-to-one basis if you're interested in transforming your travel company or expanding into medical tourism, as if you see that as an opportunity. So the questions for you that we will send over to you for you to do at home, and you get back to us, is what specialty of medical tourism do you believe you can start with? Because sometimes it's a start. You don't have to try to embark in everything, but you could start in something. And that is a question for you guys that you could answer. And maybe aesthetic surgery, dentistry, well-being, preventive care, etc. And have you already been asked by a client of yours? So just have a think about one of your clients in your clientele that you do for my dog. So one of those clienteles that you are been dealing with, maybe they have asked for this kind of treatments already. So we just wanted to ask that questions for you. So Mert will be available. Okay, we'll be finishing up in the next minutes. And also, just to let you know, if you join the Connections community, Mert will be one of our mentors. We'll have a mentorship program that we're launching for 2022. You'll have different mentors from different from fields that will be able to help you with your business. And Mert will be one of them. And we're also thinking of, as Mert mentioned before, of doing more trainings of medical tourism and on specific medical tourism offerings. So we leave you with these two questions. If you want more information, just contact us. Let us know. You have our contact details, and we could have set you up with Mert to have a one-to-one conversation in the future. And that's basically it. So we'll be sharing the video that is recorded as well. It will be recorded and shared with it through our network as well, through Mert's network as well for more information. And also you have Mert available as a mentor in the Connections community, and you'll be able to access him or any of us from my dog is back, by the way. Anyone from the Connections team, we're able to help you and put you in contact with Mert. So this is a very, very insightful. Thank you, Mert, very much for your insight. And I think it has been very, very useful for me to understand and to discuss and to dig a little deeper on this field, which could be so broad. And thank you for making it very easy to understand. And thank you for opening up some eyes and on possible opportunities that there may be for the luxury travel industry. So thank you very much, Mert, for that. So we'll give you a clap, a virtual clap.
Thank you for listening.
Excellent. So I'll pass over to Saadia. She's going to wrap it up. And remember, do answer those questions if you are interested in getting into this field, into your business. So feel free to copy those questions and go back to us whenever you want. Saadia, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mert and David. Mert, especially for sharing your expert knowledge with us today. We have found this session to be invaluable. So if you do have any further questions, please feel free to email either myself or David, and we can put you in touch with Mert himself. And as David said, we will be launching our mentor program in January. So please look out for more information in the next few weeks. Mert will be joining us as a mentor, and he will be following up on this talk in the new year. Our next Connect Talks will be on the 19th of January with Natalie, and the topic will be on optimizing business growth. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next event. Please feel free to end this call and take care.